Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join me are my co-hosts, Joseph.
Yellow.
And Jehu.
Good call. Wow.
Oh,
See, that would have been relevant for our original topic, you see. That was my Vin Diesel caw.
Ah, yeah. Very good. Yeah, we're not doing that, though.
Well, some of us aren't.
Yeah, you can talk about it. Here's what I learned about myself during this week is that I am no longer a person who has interest in paying for a Fast and Furious movie.
Well, I am
thought
not going to change your mind about that today.
I mean, to be fair, I had a minor curiosity even before not going to see the movie about what the fuck we would talk about if we even watched it. Like, it's like the other ones, but also the same as the other ones.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that.
No, instead, we're going to do...
Instead, our lazy asses stayed at home and watched...
Well, some of our lazy asses stayed home. Jehu still did the homework on the other one.
I did, but we'll go ahead and say what we're talking about.
So today we're discussing the latest film from Steven Soderbergh and latest... Is this a dual release HBO Max in theaters? I don't know.
Maybe so,
it's
yeah.
HBO. No Sudden Move. Again, on HBO Max, which is how we watched it.
Which feels like it should be No Sudden Moves, plural, because I feel like that's the only way the expression has ever been used. But, fuck it. I don't write these things.
Pretty all-star casty, I guess.
Man, it's all-star casty, including because like I do with the bare minimum of effort I do for this podcast. I looked at the IMDb trivia of all the people that were supposed to be on this and turned it down, and they still ended up with a pretty good cast.
Yeah, I mean, you had obviously Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, David Harbour. They're kind of the big three, but John Hamm, Kieran Culkin.
Yep.
What's his butt? Freaking, what is his name?
Brendan
Ray
Fraser?
Liotta. No, I was thinking Ray Liotta, but yeah,
but also Brendan Fraser's in this, and one surprise person who's now making a habit of being a surprise person in movies.
So I'll be honest, I can try to summarize this movie, but I don't think I entirely understood it.
I'm not sure that I did either. Here's the thing about this. It's loosely, Steven Soderbergh, famous for making, I think most famous for making the Ocean's movies, also made, what's the one that you love, Hurt, that I also love?
The one that's Taylor.
Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky, yeah.
So, he's definitely got a heist acumen working for him. And so I feel like this one was pitched as more of a heist thing, and it's less of a heist thing and more of a complicated cops and robbers thing. And it should be important to note that the person who wrote the screenplay for this movie is the same screenwriter from Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too.
Oh, and we know how much you love those movies.
I feel like that puts the rest of the shit in this movie into focus a little bit more.
I do think that there is an element of the Ocean's movies in this, and maybe that's just Steven Soderbergh's fingerprints on this film.
Or just the sheer number of recognizable names involved.
Yeah, so that's one of them. A bunch of recognizable names. The use of jazz in spotty moments. A plot that doesn't make sense until the very end. Except in this case, I'm not sure that actually does.
Yeah, I'm not sure that holds up. But that's a hallmark, I think, of the Now You See Me movies.
There you go. That makes sense. Where the roads cross.
Yep, indeed.
But it's about I assume, career con man kind of thing, gun for hire, recently released from prison, who gets picked up for what is seemingly a simple job, just babysitting a wife and kids while the husband is kidnapped to rob a safe. When things turn sideways and there's more than meets the eye, rival gangs, and for some reason the automotive industry are involved.
Indeed.
I don't have much more than that. I
was about to say, what did you think about the movie overall?
I didn't love it.
You didn't love it?
I wanted to like it, but it's just too messy. There's too many. One, it doesn't do you any favors. There's a lot of names thrown at you of characters you don't see for a long time in this movie. And by the time you get to them, you're not even really sure who they are. And it reminds me a lot. I don't know if either of you have ever read the book The Historian, but this is something The Historian does, which doesn't use names very often. This is kind of the opposite. It uses names too much. It assumes you know more than you know, and I apparently don't know anything. So It was kind of boring. I stopped a few times, made myself go back for this podcast. I'm probably going to go worse than Transformers.
Oh, dear. I thought it was fine. It's one of those things where I think one of the things that annoys me about the Now You See Me movies is the fact that it's about like magic, both illusory Vegas magic and real magic combined somehow. And, combines that with the whole heist aspect, which I think my issue is the whole part of a good heist movie is that it feels like a magic trick. And I always felt like Now You See Me has just been a little too annoyingly on the nose about it. And so with this kind of thing, it's got a similar problem, but it's dressed in a way that I don't hate it as much. I think if you look too hard at any particular plot elements, it does not hold together. But I think the performances are generally pretty fun, pretty charming. I really enjoy Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, there are worse ways to spend 2 hours. I'd go better than Transformers.
Well,
Hurt, how are you going to split the decision?
If I hadn't already spoiled this, my little twist in this particular caper is I didn't get a chance to watch it.
That's why you didn't answer the text.
No, actually, I didn't answer the text just because I've been super busy today. But yeah, I still wouldn't have answered the text if I would have saw the text. It's funny because it didn't go in how I thought it would at all. I thought this was basically going to be a podcast where you guys tell me about a movie I really want to see, and I tell you about a movie that you guys made a good decision not to watch. But it's not going that way at all. So that's exciting. I watched like the first 10 minutes of this like last week. There was like a first 10 minute preview of it, and that part looked really good. So I'm kind of bummed to hear it's at best so-so. Yeah, but the involvement of the Now You See Me guys sort of explains that. Go ahead, Christian. I'm sorry.
I think it does look good. I think one thing that this movie does pretty well is it nails the time period. It looks very much like 1950s America. And to that point, John Hamm just cannot escape that decade as an actor.
I know it.
In a lot of ways, it kind of feels like Mad Men. There's a lot of comparison there because Mad Men does a lot of the same things, which is uses names, assumes you know things, and you don't. It takes like 10 episodes for you to have any fucking clue what's going on in Mad Men. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of the same, except then it just throws in this curveball at the end about it being about Cadillac converters. And I think that's probably the other issue I had. I mean, I don't want to get spoilers, I guess.
If you haven't seen this movie, it's on HBO Max. You know how we're feeling. If you like a Steven Soderbergh movie, you'll probably like it.
Yeah, I mean, just watch Logan Lucky or Ocean's 11 or 12.
Logan Lucky is still better.
Yeah, I think all three of those movies are better.
We'll do a Steven Soderbergh ranking after this because we'll get to it. Anyway, go ahead.
I am surprised you like Ocean's 12. I like it too, but most people fucking hate it.
That's why we need to talk.
Ocean's 12 is much better than it. Let's fuck this movie. Let's just talk about Ocean's 12. You talk about the spoiler guest star in this, who is a Steven Soderbergh regular. And unlike the Ocean's movies or Logan Lucky, which I agree those are real places and real events, this feels more historical fiction than that. And I don't think that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
I don't. Could you explain yourself a little more?
Well, the whole twist about, we know the auto industry intentionally lying about the effect of automobiles and pollution and eventually, mandating the Cadillac converter be in cars to help with that problem. I don't think that adds anything to this film.
See, I kind of disagree because this is one of my favorite things in these crime movies. This is true in like a lot of noir movies or even in superhero plots. I love it when people like scrape tooth and nail and fight and die for like the dumbest imaginable shit. And in this case, it's schematics for a new muffler or whatever. And I fucking love that. I don't know. There's something very funny. Like, cause I mean, the point is for the industry, for the car industry, it is like, it's huge amounts of dollar value. Like it is objectively worth a lot of money, but just like from a common sense standpoint, it's a piece of paper about a fucking car part. and like, you know, half a dozen people are dying over it. It's the dumbest fucking thing in the world, but it, you know, it seems really important because of the money value associated with it. So I feel like it's supposed to kind of like, I don't know, to me, things like that play on how stupid the greed is.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fucking dumb. I really thought it was stupid. If it wasn't a real thing, maybe I could have seen the humor in it. But with it being a real thing, it felt like it was trying to teach me something.
Sure. I mean, look, there was a whole point. Well, fuck. I didn't think we were going to talk about this movie for even this long, if I'm honest with you. So the big reveal of the extra surprise character is Matt Damon for her.
I wanted to guess because I was going to guess Matt Damon. God damn it!
You would have been right. I'm sorry. You should have jumped in. And he's supposed to be like the head of you know, some
automobile lobbyist,
trust kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's very clear when you meet him that he's supposed to just represent the money that's making all of this violence happen. And I think that was clear. I think it was fine. But for some reason, the goddamn guy who wrote Now You See Me decided he needed to have a 3-minute monologue about how he is the only money in the world and everybody plays by his rules. This is our rich white world to control, and you're just living in it. And I don't know, like it was one of those things where I thought like the movie was doing a good job of telling us that, but the writer decided it wasn't.
So here's the thing. I agree with you on all of this. And this is where this is the good point to describe how I think this movie went wrong. Because if the movie wanted to be good, he would have been shot during that monologue.
Sure.
Not and that would have been the humor in it. But since you can't do that, and he's supposed to be a real person, and it's supposed to act like this is a real event, and how the automobile industry wasn't caught for another 15 years or whatever after this, you can't. But like, is anyone a hero? Because Don Cheadle at the end of this ends up getting what he wants, and then every bad person he encountered in this movie wins. And the only person that loses is the one guy who's been helping him the entire time.
I mean, except for the time where he double-crossed him, but yes.
Sure, they got out of that just fine.
That's one of the other things I want to talk about is like, I love both of you know, our main two people. Don Cheadle has such like an effortless cool in this film. Like he's just the coolest customer in any particular situation and really sells it. But one of my favorite things about Benicio del Toro is I feel like he actively goes out of his way to not in any way imbue his characters with likable traits. And somehow they end up being more likable because
yeah.
And I don't know how that works, but he's like, I don't know. He's just, you know, a similar kind of Benicio del Toro asshole than he usually is, including openly racist, but he's still very charming.
Yeah, I thought he was great. To me, this was very similar to his character in Last Jedi, except without like the stutter. Yeah. Like he's just kind of like slimy yet capable, supposed to be unlikable, but for some reason you like him anyway. But those two are great. Like I feel like I'm sitting here trashing it. Like they are fun to watch together. And if they make an Ocean's 27 or whatever, I would hope you bring in Benicio to be in part of that movie, because I think he'd be a fun addition.
Yeah.
Which apparently that's the rumor. Don Cheadle saying after this that now Steven Soderbergh it's renewed his interest in making another Ocean's movie.
If you can get Adam Driver and his prosthetic arm in there somewhere, I am 100% on board.
Some quasi combination. Yeah.
There's not that much more to say about this. You know, I've said before that, you know, I think the Now You See Me movies are great movies to watch on mute because I think they'd be improved by that. I don't think that's true of this movie just because I think it would seem slow. I think there's not like enough action. I think there's a lot of like, you know, tension in the dialogue and unspoken. Well, I say unspoken. A lot of times guns are pointed at people, conflict, but it's definitely not something that I don't think we can analyze into making sense or being better. I think it's got a lot of holes in it. It was fucking built that way, and you just enjoy it as it is, or you don't.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this: you guys have talked me into watching The Nice Guys again.
I think you know what? Fuck that! Now I want to watch The Nice Guys again.
Is, yeah, 100%. That's a better opinion.
It seems like a better crime movie that has the same point.
I will say, and I know this is too on the nose again for one of the iconic Benicio del Toro characters, but I do feel like this is kind of a better version of The Usual Suspects, which I generally feel is aggressively overrated.
I only stand strong behind the Usual Suspects because I think 7 is aggressively overrated.
Oh damn, we have a lot of weird, specifically white guy opinions about these things, huh?
Right.
I'm just going to throw my hat in this ring only to say The Usual Suspects is only overrated because it's really the only tolerable Bryan Singer movie. I think it's officially canceled now that he's canceled.
I mean, him and Kevin Spacey are super duper canceled. So.
It's like the battleship of canceled. It will fight that war for everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, that's this movie, which is the name of which I already don't remember. But it's on HBO.
No Sudden Move.
No Sudden Move. I think it's fine. You're making me feel like it's less than not as good as Transformers, but I think I'm standing strong. I think it's better than Transformers.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay.
And Ocean's 12 is better than Transformers.
God damn it. You know, if we're talking, we can't do this. We all know the twist in 12. I feel like you either got to get on board with it or not. And I just think it's the dumbest, laziest piece of shit I've ever fucking seen.
We switched it on the train at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, I like that movie. Vincent Castle, underrated.
Yeah, I think that movie's fine. When I watched it, I was ready to be on board. A different mood, and I probably would have hated it when the character Julia Roberts impersonated Julia Roberts. But
I fucking love that.
I love that so much.
It's the fucking worst.
I mean, I'm not going to argue it's not the worst, but I had a really good time with it being the worst.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I'm glad we put that to rest.
I guess we'll just do this as what I'm watching, since I'm the only one who watched it. But yeah, I watched 9 Fast, 9 Furious. Boy, do you guys know why they're still secret agents? Like, have you guys kept up with any of this? Because I mean, as I remember it, up until 5, they were car driving, heist people. And then because of what they did in 5, they got noticed and got involved because of specific reasons in espionage. But I thought that had run its course in the next 2 movies. Why are they still? Do you guys know why they're still in espionage?
No.
No. I mean, that Cypher chick kidnapped Dom's kid or something.
Yeah, that's the last plausible semi reason I remember in the franchise.
But they solved that problem.
They do, and now she's like kind of a good guy, I think.
That always happens.
I can't really say, because in this movie she spent the entirety of it in like a box, and then flew a drone plane for a little bit.
This movie. Hang on a second. Is Fast and Furious anime? Every single boss from the previous movie becomes a new part of the team in the next movie.
I mean, maybe.
Oh shit.
Anyway, go on, Hurt.
The thing is, I don't even know. This is just a movie that when I watch it, I don't really know why it exists. Justin Lin is a director I like. I think he's very good, and I think he probably earned his paycheck directing this, but he also co-wrote it, and he should have had that paycheck immediately taken back. And I don't just mean because the plot was nonsensical and none of like the stunts make any sense. It's just like nobody says anything. They just launch words at each other, and I don't really know what the point of them are. To say that it's really bad is like not even doing it right. It's hard to say that a movie where someone basically bungee jumps with a car is boring, but this movie was boring. Like, first of all, Joseph, you said you had a curiosity about it, right?
Yes.
Didn't you say that at one point? As luck would have it, you don't have to, because you saw everything that happens in the trailer.
Okay.
Like, literally, like all the twists and turns are in the trailer. John Cena is Dom's brother, and yeah, he's his brother. That's it. That's the whole thing. Han is alive, and yeah, Han's alive. That's it. That's the whole thing. Like, there's not something that those items move the story forward with. That's just what they do. That's what they're there for. The only parts of the movie I really enjoyed is there are flashbacks to John Cena and Dom when they're younger and what their falling out is. And first of all, man, Vin Diesel has some sort of complex, man. I don't know, because the guy he got to play him as a child, as like a teenager, was definitely like a 37-year-old workout man. like it was like he is so big and so sexy. But when they would do these flashbacks, I was just like, I just wish this was the movie. I think they really made a mistake with after they settled the bringing Letty back from the dead and that whole storyline and stuff, not going back to being about street racing. Because that was the only parts that was interesting in this movie when they show the flashbacks to the street racing. The rest of the movie is just so unbearably dumb. Like, I probably forgot like 5 or 6 years watching this movie just because it was sucking the brain out of me. You know, I know in our text, Ian really liked it, and I can see his argument about this for previous ones. For a while, I think it was fine for them just to be dumb and fun, but this didn't do anything new with being dumb and fun. Honestly, it just felt like a placeholder. And the going to space shit is stupid. I can't explain it better than that. It's just fucking dumb. They go to space on a Pontiac Fiero. That's supposed to be funny, but it didn't make me laugh. Lucas Black does come back, and I think his only instruction given to him as an actor was act methed out, and he fucking nailed that. Like, that dude looks like he's seen from years, some mileage since the last time I seen him. So yeah, I'm going with worse than Transformers on this movie. It's a shame it's making so much money because that's not going to inspire them to do any better for the last ones. But the last one of these I watched, I enjoyed, and I should have stayed on that one because I don't think these movies have anything else to offer me.
I'm sorry we didn't tell you sooner. We were going to bail.
That's fine. I might have still watched it anyway because I had a curiosity about it. I felt like there was going to be more to it, but there really wasn't. Anything you need to know about this movie you saw in the trailers. And I tell you something else. John Cena is a dude that I really liked since he's switched to movies. I liked him as a wrestler too, but I think he has a good comic timing. I think he has a good screen presence, and he is just completely misused in this. They totally just get him in that whole, here's the guy to act tougher than Dom Toretto, and that's just what they do at each other for fucking 2 hours. They fight and stare at each other looking tough, and they don't do anything with John Cena that he's shown that he's good at in movies. And man, I tell you something else. There is no dramatic tension in this movie because the whole point of it is that this guy, Dom's brother, feels less than Dom, and the world thinks he's less than Dom, even though Dom is just like a guy who stole VCRs and he's apparently been James Bond for 20 fucking years. Somehow he's less than Dom. And then it turns out he's less than Dom. Dom kicks his ass. Like, they didn't present him. He wasn't the fucking Death Star. He wasn't something that Dom had to overcome. It was a thing that's like, oh, this is a guy that Dom will be able to overcome. And then he does. There's a point in this movie where Dom pulls down a building with chains, not using his car, using his fucking arms. Like, they went so off the fucking rails with Dom's the toughest guy who ever fucking lived. Like, it's just, it's moved into ridiculous in a non-fun way. Yeah, definitely worse than Transformers. One more thing, fucking Tyrese must have had some sort of contract up between this one and the last time I saw him, because he gets all the best action shit in this movie, and he has some plot where he realizes that these movies are ridiculous and they all should be dead, and he decides that he's invincible. And usually Tyrese drives me nuts in these fucking movies, but that was the only part of this movie that kind of entertained me. I do. Has he made a movie with Marky Mark?
Oh goodness, was he in Four Brothers?
I know. I was just thinking, is he in Four Brothers?
See, yeah, I've seen Four Brothers, and I can't say for sure if he is or not. But I just know I would watch an action movie with just the two of them yelling what's going on.
Ooh, we're not racist.
I mean, Four Brothers is so long ago, I barely remember Marky Mark's in it.
I mean, there are four of them. Who can remember?
That movie's good. I haven't watched it a decade, but I remember liking it.
This whole episode has just turned into, hey, look, there are better movies than the ones we're talking about.
Yeah, I remember Four Brothers was a thing for me where I just realized I was not even with my generation, much less a generation below me, because I was just so into that movie that I recognized it as being a remake of The Sons of Katie Elder, and not one other human on Earth cared about that. It's like anyone I would tell that to was like, who gives a shit? What even is that? So, but yeah, don't go see 9 Fast, 9 Furious. Also, one more thing. Man, why didn't the coolest thing this franchise ever did was naming the sequel Too Fast, Too Furious. I don't know why they haven't stuck with that.
I know.
Every one of them should be that. Although that thing you sent, was that, which one of you sent?
Fast 10, your seatbelts.
See, if they don't call it that, if they call it that movie, I'll go see it. But otherwise, I'm done with the Fast and the Furious movies.
Well, good. I think I was done at 7, but I'm glad you finally have made the realization. When the next one comes out, Ian can come back and he can tell us about it.
Correct.
I mean, I knew I was done like 2 or 3 movies ago, but I think it was John Cena, like, piqued my curiosity, and I was wrong. And also, by the way, one more thing. The Paul Walker character has now officially turned into Wilson in this. Mm-hmm. Like, they just always talk about him and like show him driving up and stuff, but don't show him. They should really just put a guy on the other side of the fence and have him be Brian.
Interesting. I didn't even think about how Brian would affect this movie, but that makes sense. I mean, it was such a key part, and it isn't this is the one that has like the most screen time for Jordana Brewster, right? This is like the first one or something. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, when was I'm trying to remember, but when was the last time Paul Walker was a crucial key to these fucking movies?
Well, yeah. I mean,
4?
I mean, 4 was like, I feel like that was when they were officially like, Dom is the center of this universe.
Yeah, but he was like the FBI. He was like working for the FBI in that one. Like, that's how they got back together. But after that, it's been Dom versus whomever. So it was Dom versus The Rock, and then Dom versus Luke Evans, and Dom versus, like, Brian has not been a central character for a long time.
Well, I mean, I still think that, I lost interest when Paul Walker died, because even if he wasn't a central character, I feel like these movies were about that relationship, those two dudes. And it really, not to give these movies any, like, weight, but, once that was gone, it was like, well, it's just about this guy. Because also, I think Vin Diesel is getting worse as an actor. Like, I know he was never great, but man, in this, he just like, oh, bruh. Like, that's how he delivers every line. A grunt, pause, and then another grunt.
If you, the listeners, haven't seen the SNL skit about Vin Diesel going back to the movies, it's very funny. I recommend it.
I think also that might have been what got in my head and made me think I had to see this. Even though that was making fun of him, it's like, man, I got to see this movie in the movies. I did not have to see this movie in the movies.
Anything else on Fast 9?
No. I mean, no. There's nothing else to say about this.
There's a part of me that feels like you're saying yes, but you're restraining yourself.
I mean, I could really pick apart just how fucking dumb the action is in this. And I know there's a clear turn in this. Actually, 2 more things I'll bring up. First of all, I think there was like a clear turn in the second one. If you remember in the second one, there's a part where they jump a car onto a boat, and that literally would have killed everyone involved. But it didn't. And at that point, it's like, okay, well, these things just aren't going to make sense. But definitely, and 5's the best one, but the safe dragon number 5 was like, okay, we're just not doing physics anymore. There's no way this could fucking work, and that's just the shit we're going to do. But at this one, in trying to top themselves, the stuff was just so stupid and so like overly CGI that there was no stakes to it. But I mean, there was literally a part where fucking Ludacris, who, by the way, somehow Ludacris is the only person who's still trying in these. He's the only person who's trying to act. Everybody else is just reading off fucking cue cards. But Ludacris brings up physics at one point in this, and I was just waiting for someone to say, we have not paid attention to that shit since Too Fast, Too Furious.
We've been breaking those laws since Fast 4.
Right. Okay, now I'm really done crapping on this movie.
That's fabulous. What have we been watching this past week, guys?
I didn't watch anything this week. The only thing I did was I restarted Neon Genesis. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
I was just so curious to rewatch it, but it gets me in my head so much, and it's so fucked up. I mean, like Shinji is just like a character that I can't stop thinking about for hours, and it just sticks with you. So I powered through like 4 episodes in a night, and then I watched like 2 more like 2 days later, and I haven't been able to go back. Like it creeps me out, but I kind of like it. It's like an addiction. I have to go back. I have to know more. I have to see how it ends again, but I don't like the way it makes me feel. That's
good news.
It's better than Transformers.
There's about 45 hours of YouTube videos of people having the exact same reaction, but in like 30-minute video essay packages.
I can do it in 30 seconds. Fuck them. That's it.
All right, fair enough. But did you have anything else?
No, that was it. Dude, it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes. When did I have time to watch anything else?
That's a fair point. The wife and I finished up SSS Dynazenon, which is the loose sequel to SSS Gridman. Same style, CGI, but mimicking people in rubber suits. It's a really good time. It's made by Trigger. Trigger kicks ass. They're making one of those Star Wars shorts, which I'm fucking jazzed about. It's a good show, better than Transformers. And then I also finished up another anime called Made in Abyss, which I specifically think Christian would love. It's about a unspecified time in human society where they find a giant hole in the earth that has mysterious properties and mysterious shit in it that's worth a lot of money and does cool shit. But going down in the hole is super dangerous and very both has mystical effects on the body, and also there's a bunch of weird creatures that are out to kill you. It's got some of the most elegant, low-key world building I've ever seen, rivaling, if not better than Full Metal Alchemist. I think just the world alone enthralled me, and I think would super kill Christian because he loves world building so much. So Made in Abyss, it's on Amazon. It's 1 season. Don't be deceived by the very cutesy style art. It's very gruesome at times.
Dope. I'm intrigued.
But better than Transformers. There's probably more, but fuck it. We'll do it next week. Next week, hey, Black Widow.
We're for real going to do that one.
We're going to for real do that one. Marvel, it's going to happen. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast. If you want to get in touch with us about your Fast 9 reactions, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. And we'll see you guys next week.
Later.